Itoshi Rin was the centerpiece of Blue Lock 11's strategy against the Japan U20 team. Throughout the series, Rin has always been seen as the best player, and even now, he remains one of the top strikers to date. Rin is a genius on the field. He's got the speed, skills, and incredible technique that makes him one of the toughest players to face. On top of that, his spatial awareness is on another level. He can read and predict the movements of almost anyone on the field, including Hiiragi. As the series goes on, Rin levels up even more. He's able to hold his own against international players like Ness and Kaiser, and even keep up with a legend like Loki. All of Rin's skills are ranked between A and S, which makes him incredibly hard to beat. But what really sets Rin apart isn't just his skills, it's his mindset. Like most of the strikers in Blue Lock, Rin has a strong ego, but his philosophy is unique. Rin's belief has always been about destroying his opponents. But his real growth comes when he realizes that his true nature isn't just about destruction. It's about being willing to destroy even himself to win. This idea ties back to his favorite kaiju villain from childhood, which also explains his habit of sticking his tongue out when he's in the zone. Like that villain, Rin is driven to take down someone stronger than him, even if it means self-destruction. At first, Rin's goal was to surpass his brother and become the best striker in the world. But after the match against the Japan U20 team, his goal evolved. Now, all he cares about is beating Hiiragi, no matter what. This goal even overlaps with his original dream to become the world's best. Hiiragi Yuichi was Igo's final piece in his all-out offensive plan against Japan's national team. He's definitely one of the most egoistic strikers in Blue Lock, but unlike some of the raw talents in the program, Hiiragi isn't considered a natural genius. During the U20 match, Hiiragi was set up as Rin's perfect partner. His unmatched spatial awareness and metavision lets him do things like create plays, steal the ball from both teammates and opponents, and even shut down other teams' scoring chances. By reading the field and analyzing every player, even their star players, Hiiragi can predict the key movements of a match and turn them into chances for himself. One of Hiiragi's signature moves is his direct shot. It's been his go-to weapon since the beginning, but as he's grown, this skill has evolved into something even more dangerous, the two-gun direct volley. He came up with this move after copying Nagi's juggling shot and tweaking it on the spot to score a goal against PXG. Since then, the two-gun volley has been shaping up to be Hiiragi's ultimate finishing move. While Hiiragi isn't a genius, he sees himself as a talented learner. He's the kind of player who studies geniuses like Rin, Baru, Bachira, and Nagi, using their strengths to develop strategies that can counter them. This has been a part of his game from the start. Hiiragi has always been shown copying or adapting other players' skills instead of relying on raw physical talent. It's only recently that Hiiragi fully accepted that he's not a genius, and that's where his real evolution begins. In Hiiragi's own words, he's willing to sell his soul to achieve victory. He now sees himself as a pawn in the game, determined to prove that a talented learner can outsmart the genius strikers. And this is exactly what Ego had envisioned all along. Jin Gagamaru is the goalkeeper for the Blue Lock team and was the first member to be announced by Ego right after Rin. Gagamaru started out as a striker who specialized in poaching goals. This means he would wait in the penalty area for the perfect chance to score. His insane reflexes and incredible flexibility lets him control his body in ways that most players can't, pulling off goals from angles that seem impossible. That's exactly why Ego made him the team's goalkeeper. Even though Gagamaru started as a striker, he's now firmly associated with goalkeeping. When he joined Germany's bastard München during the Neo-Egoist League, he kept playing as a goalkeeper and quickly became unbeatable in his role. Ego believes Gagamaru's lightning-fast reactions, flexibility, and natural athleticism makes him the perfect choice to protect Blue Lock 11's goal. As the series goes on, Gagamaru keeps evolving into an even better goalkeeper, proving just how right Ego was. His wild instincts and sharp awareness helps him read opponents' moves, shut down dangerous plays, and block even the trickiest shots from strikers like Baro. One of his signature moves is the bear claw deflection, where he uses his wide palm to slap the ball away before it can reach the net. And for someone who loves bears, this move couldn't be more fitting for Gagamaru. Quick timeout! Before we dive deeper into the skills, goals, and personalities of Blue Lock 11, including the subs and your favorite players like Igarashi, Chigiri, and Baru, if you're enjoying this video so far, smash that like and subscribe button. Now, let's kick off! Migaru Bachira is the left side back for Blue Lock 11 when they face Japan's national team. His crazy dribbling skills and ability to score or connect with teammates are some of the big reasons Ego picks Bachira as their starter. One of this character's most hyped moments in the match against Japan's U20 team happens when Bachira enters a flow state and taps into his egotistical dribbling style. In this state, he's all about making plays for himself and won't pass to anyone unless they meet his expectations. His ego is so high that he sees even Hiiragi and Nagi as just extras. While we know Bachira now has an ego-driven striker with his eyes set on being the best in the world, his original reason for joining Blue Lock was to find a rival who also had a monster inside them. Throughout the series, Bachira's plays are driven by that monster in his head. His skills definitely grew as he overcame his childhood trauma, but his real growth came when he accepted the need to evolve that monster alongside him. He realized that by taking his monster to the next level, he could become the world's best striker. Chigiri is a speedster genius and easily one of the quickest strikers in the series. During the U20 match, Ego picked him to play as the right side back for Blue Lock 11. Even since he was a kid, Chigiri's speed and natural talent on the field makes him stand out. His incredible physical abilities let him outrun and outplay his opponents, which also turned him into a cocky super egoist. But things took a turn after an injury and bullying from the Wanima brothers. Despite this, Chigiri's determination to reclaim his dream of being the best striker in the world is easily one of his most exciting moments in the anime. While the defense isn't his strong suit, Chigiri's offensive stats are through the roof. He's got A to S grades in speed, dribbling, passing, and scoring. His ultimate goal is to become the kind of player who doesn't need to pass the ball. Chigiri dreams of being a striker who can blow past defenders and score all on his own. To make this happen, Chigiri pushed himself to evolve. Known for dominating the right side of the field with his right leg, he's now a left winger who controls the left side instead. He even developed a signature move called the 44 Panther Snipe. With this, Chigiri runs into his golden zone and unleashes a precise attack aimed straight for the corner of the goal. Kinyu Yukimaya is Blue Lock's starting left winger and is known as the one-on-one emperor. His dribbling skills are some of the best in the series, and honestly, Yukimaya might be one of the top strikers in Japan when it comes to one-on-one situations. But what you might not know about Yukimaya is that he's actually running out of time. Yukimaya has an eye condition called optic neuropathy, which causes tunnel vision and blind spots, especially when he's fatigued. What's even worse is that this condition can't be stopped, and if it gets too bad, Yukimaya might even go blind. Even though he can slow down the progression of his eye disease, Yukimaya's days as a striker are numbered. But that doesn't change the fact that he's still one of the best players in the game. His skills make him a tough opponent for anyone, even Japan's U20's defenders. One of Yukimaya's most hyped moments came during the match against the Japan U20 team when he went into his flow state. In this state, he really showed off his street football style, cutting past Nero with some insane dribbling. Yukimaya has a few signature moves up his sleeve, like the gyro shot, where he kicks the ball with a crazy spin that throws off his opponents and results in a surprise goal. He also has a new move called Sword Screw, a horizontal shot that lands on the ground before piercing through the goal. Despite his condition, Yukimaya is determined to become the best striker before his time runs out. Seishiro Nagi is one of the biggest geniuses in Blue Lock. During the match against Japan's U20 team, Nagi played as the offensive midfielder for Blue Lock 11. Ego made this call after seeing Nagi's incredible skills. In fact, Ego thinks Nagi's talent is so brilliant that his ball control and goal-scoring ability go beyond what's normally possible. What really sets Nagi apart is his insane trapping ability. This is actually what pushed Ryo to partner up with Nagi in the first place. Nagi's scoring skills are at the next level, and they only get better when he's in the flow state. One example is his two-stage fake volley shot, where he sets up a powerful shot only to change its direction mid-air and score. He takes it even further with his 5-shot revolver fake volley, where Nagi fakes 4 volleys before finally blasting it into the goal. But because Nagi has a lazy personality, his biggest weakness is that he's not great at creating plays on his own. He relies a lot on having a strong partner so he can focus on receiving the ball and reacting with his instincts. If Nagi can work on getting past this weakness, he could be even stronger. But for him, the fun part of the game really comes from teaming up with Ryo and playing off each other. Inoiko is one of the 2 center backs for Blue Lock 11. He's also one of the first strikers in the series to show off spatial awareness that can almost rival Isagi's. Although it's not as sharp as Isagi's, Nico's metavision is still at such a high level that he's been using it subconsciously. If Isagi hadn't pointed it out, Nico wouldn't have even realized he had this ability. Nico uses his eyes to gather data on every player, their movements, and their positions on the field. He keeps track of the ball and watches for players in dangerous spots. When he sees someone in a position to score, he dashes in to steal the ball. This skill is what makes Nico's steals so impressive. In fact, his early metavision is the reason he managed to shut down Shido and Sei, stopping one of their goals. Thanks to this defensive style, Nico has become one of the top-ranked players, worth millions of yen. Like Nico, Jubei Aryu is one of the starting center backs for Blue Lock 11. His insane physical strength and incredible reach makes him a key player in their team's defense. Aryu's main weapon is his jumping power. He's also known for poaching goals, kind of like Gagamaru, but Aryu has shown he might actually be the better of the two. While Hiiragi, Baru, or Shido are more commonly associated with this position now, Ryu is actually one of Blue Lock's original top players. Ryu's jumping power is on another level. His long limbs are probably his greatest weapon, letting him reach the ball from a long distance. He uses the skill to receive passes, score goals, or even stop shots. One of his most impressive moments came when he blocked Sei's shot in the final minute of the first half. In Ryu's words, that might just be one of his most stylish moments in the series. Otoya was one of Blue Lock's top 4 and a starting member for Blue Lock 11. In the match against Aiku and his team, he was placed as the right wing, serving as one of the team's attackers. Otoya is known for his role as a shadow striker. His strategy is all about using the attention created by flashier players like Karasu or Bachira to move unnoticed. He positions himself behind an opponent, often in their blind spot, making him a dangerous scoring threat. Otoya's stealthy movements and smart positioning on the field earned him the nickname Ninja. In the U20 match, we see Otoya struggling against Miroku Darai. That's because, like Otoya, Darai also excels at off-the-ball movements. Darai quickly figures out Otoya's tactics and keeps cutting off his paths, making it tough for Otoya to sneak in and show off his skills. Tabito Karasu is the last starting member to be explained in this list, and honestly, he might be one of the most underrated players in the series. Karasu first showed up as one of Blue Lock's top 3 during the 3rd selection, and he was on the 3rd clear team with Otoya and Yukimaya. What really sets him apart from the other starters is his feints. Karasu has some seriously sharp analytical skills and a tactical mind that makes his plays stand out. A good example of his skill came during the 5 vs 5 tryouts against Rin and Shido's team. Karasu lured Hiiragi into stealing the ball from him, but his real goal was to challenge Hiiragi and crush him, ultimately defeating their team. With his cunning feints, impressive dribbling, and clever use of his hands to throw the enemy off balance, Karasu managed to get past both Hiiragi and Shido and score right in front of them. Karasu's philosophy is pretty simple. He targets the enemy's weakest player to give himself the best shot at success. Ego knows that Karasu has what it takes to be the heart of Blue Lock 11. He's assigned Karasu as a defensive midfielder, believing he could easily transition into offense. Throughout the match against Japan's U20 team, Karasu really proved he was worthy of being the team's leader, showing off his strategies and leadership in both defense and offense. Kicking off our lineup of the substitute players is Jingo Raichi. Among all the strikers in the series, Raichi stands out as one of the most annoying opponents, especially when he evolves. Early on in the series, he comes off as super arrogant, with a lot of confidence but not much to back it up in terms of achievements or abilities. Although he was one of the reserves during the match against Japan's national team, Raichi never got the chance to play and show off his skills. However, Raichi channels his frustration into growth, and later, in the Neo-Egoist League, he becomes a starting defensive midfielder for Bastard München. This is all thanks to his incredible stamina and his main weapon, his man-marking abilities. Raichi is so effective at marking opponents that if left unchecked, his targets will run out of playmaking options. This skill also messes with their heads, as seen in the match between Team Z and Team V, where Raichi marks Ryo and prevents him from making plays with Nagi. What's even more impressive is Raichi's stalking man-mark defense, where he stays really close to his target and circles around them within a 2-meter radius. This move is so effective that it even worked against a professional player like Mark Snuffy, the master of Italy's Ubers. However, when it comes to stamina and physical power, Itoshi Takamitsu is on a whole different level. He's not just a muscle machine, he's a skilled striker who can work alongside Rin on offense. Even though we didn't see much of him in the Japan U20 match, Takamitsu is still one of the most underrated players. His biggest strength is his tough and movable physique. His stamina and strength make him a powerhouse that charges at his targets, and despite his size, he's surprisingly fast. This speed helps him both on offense and defense. Even someone like Hiiragi can't match him, and Baru has trouble budging him. But what really holds Takamitsu back is his intense anxiety. While he's still a key player for his new team PXG, he's not as dominant as he was in the 2nd and 3rd selections of Blue Lock. Still, if Takamitsu can overcome his nerves, who knows how dangerous he could become. Jin Kiora is another substitute player for Blue Lock 11, and he's now playing alongside Hiiragi at Bastard München. Kiora is a talented striker with a well-rounded skill set, ranging from grade A to B. He has great accuracy, which allows him to make perfect passes, like the one he gave to Kaiser to set up his amazing Kaiser impact goal. When Kiora enters his flow state, he becomes a true monster, able to calmly assist a chaotic field and find ways to create opportunities for himself. What really sets Kiora apart from the other players on this list is his unique philosophy. He's someone who's always lived on the borderlines, from barely surviving his birth to getting caught up in his brother's fights. This has led him to believe that his presence can influence success. Simply put, whoever he sides with will likely win. Because of this, Kiora often supports the underdog. He finds it more interesting to tilt the scales in their favor, believing that if both sides can win, it's more exciting when the underdog comes out on top. Nijiro Nanase is an outstanding player who is a reserve during the U20 match. What makes him stand out from all the other strikers is his personality. He's probably the most genuinely nice guy among all the strikers in the series. When Hiiragi first met Nanase, he was taken aback by how straightforward and polite he was. After being surrounded by more hostile players like Baro and Rin, Hiiragi probably found Nanase's friendly attitude refreshing. But don't let that fool you, Nanase is still competitive. When it comes to playmaking, Nanase has the potential to team up with top players like Hiiragi and Rin. While his stats might be average compared to the more famous strikers, Nanase's determination could be what helps him survive in Blue Lock. He's willing to give the spotlight to others if it means moving forward. Nanase's true growth comes when Rin helps him realize his ambidexterity. This natural talent allows him to control both his right and left leg with ease. What's interesting is that Nanase had been using this skill during the third selection without even realizing it. Ron's Corona might not have had a chance to show off his skills as a reserve player for the Blue Lock 11, but his abilities as a forward are definitely worth noting. Corona is fantastic at making short passes. His sharp analytical skills and keen observation of the field lets him quickly position himself in spots that are tough for the opposition but perfect for his team. One of the things Corona is best known for is being one of Hisagi's most compatible partners in the Neo-Egoist League. His signature ability, Planet Hotline, makes it easy for him and Hisagi to break through solid defenses. This skill is especially useful when facing teams with disorganized defenses. During Planet Hotline, Corona maintains top speed while making sharp cuts and turns to keep passing and receiving the ball effortlessly. Raichi Hiiragi might be a bit of a mystery, but there's no doubting his skills as a striker. He doesn't appear much in the main series, but his abilities are so impressive that even Nagi described him as a mix of his own skills and Hisagi's. Hiiragi was part of the 4th clear team alongside Nanase. While he doesn't show up much in the main story, the episode Nagi spin-off manga does a great job of exploring Hiiragi's psychology and skills. Hiiragi is a true tactician. He's someone who carefully plans his strategies before facing off against opponents. He analyzes the strengths and weaknesses of the other team and then shuts them down with strategies he's developed. This kind of thinking allowed him to score 3 goals in a row against a team full of geniuses, including Chigiri, Nagi, and Baro. On top of that, Hiiragi has a signature skill called Big Data Soccer. This skill combines his love for tarot cards and fortune telling to predict how the game will play out. He analyzes the opponent's thoughts, personalities, and movement patterns, then compiles all that into data to make calculated plays and set up goals. You could argue that this is a kind of early version of metavision, and it could get even stronger as it evolves. Hiiragi also has exceptional trapping skills, but what really sets him apart is that he can trap the ball while it's on the move. Unlike Nagi, who is known for his still traps, Hiiragi can perform a running trap without losing any speed, allowing him to quickly set up and score. Yukio Ishikari is the tallest youth player in Japan, standing out with his impressive height. Although he didn't get the chance to play during the U20 match, his weapon is simple, yet one of the most troublesome in Blue Lock. Yukio, along with Nico and Hiori, was part of the 5th clear team. His main advantage is his towering height. At 2 meters tall, Yukio is one of the tallest players in Blue Lock, even taller than someone like Aryu. This gives him an edge when it comes to aerial challenges, with his vertical jump being nearly impossible to beat by most defenders. For example, Yukio was able to intercept Ryo's pass to Nagi and easily give a header pass to Aryu. His height makes him an excellent duo partner with Aryu, as together they formed a powerful combination that even Ryo had trouble dealing with. What you might not know is that Yukio actually made an appearance in the very first episode of the anime. Even then, he was already known for his height. However, Yukio's true dream isn't about excelling in Blue Lock. He actually wants to become a professional basketball player. Zantetsu Tsurugi is another talented substitute player for Blue Lock 11, though he unfortunately didn't get a chance to play during the U20 match. Zantetsu's main weapon is his explosive speed. His quick acceleration allows him to react rapidly to any movements within a 10-meter range. Even Chigiri admitted that he would have a hard time keeping up with Zantetsu in that range. However, Zantetsu struggles with longer sprints, like the one Chigiri pulled off during their match in the first selection. Being a left footer gives Zantetsu an advantage as an inverted winger, allowing him to create opportunities for the opposite side of the field. He also has an evolved skill called Jet Counter, which boosts his acceleration and enables him to pass through multiple opponents at once and open more plays. Ryo Mikage was on the same team as Zantetsu during the first selection, and in the U20 match he came on as a substitute for Chigiri. Ryo's addition to the lineup made things even better because this guy can copy almost every good skill that exists. Ryo is known as the Chameleon. He's a jack-of-all-trades type of striker with an all-rounder ability that's tough to beat. His primary weapon is the ability to accurately copy another player's main skill with about 99% accuracy. While he might not always match the original's level, Ryo's chameleon ability is still incredibly overpowered for a number of reasons. His natural talent and sports sense help him take on this skill even further. Perhaps the most memorable thing Ryo did during the match against Japan's U20 team was copying Oliver Aiku's defensive movements to deal with Shido. Ryo is so skilled that he even copied Yukimaya's gyro shot and Sai's cross elastico nutmeg later in the series. What's more, after watching Nagi for so long, Ryo can easily replicate Nagi's trap shot pass to near perfection. Ryo has copied many more skills throughout the series, but he also has one more special ability: the ability to make calculated plays to score goals. That's because, like Nico, Ryo has subconsciously used metavision. Ryo has definitely evolved into a player who doesn't need Nagi to shine anymore, but their compatibility is so strong that only an evolved Ryo can fully unlock Nagi's potential as a striker. Hiori Yo is a substitute player for Blue Lock 11 and later stepped in for Nico during the match against Japan's national team. Hiori is a skilled playmaker known for his excellent passing and ball control. He's the quiet technician who excels at creating space for his teammates on the front line. When he's on the field, Hiori quickly scans his surroundings to assess where everyone is and how the play is shaping up. His calm and sharp vision allows him to receive and pass the ball smoothly. Hiori works especially well with players like Rin, both in the third selection and during the U20 match. As he evolves, he becomes Isagi's partner in the Neo-Egoist League. Hiori's ability to read the game is top tier, but the story behind it is a bit more complicated. As Karasu pointed out, Hiori doesn't actually enjoy soccer that much. While he has great skills and natural talent, his lack of a strong ego has kept him from fully unlocking his potential. At first, Hiori played soccer to meet his parents' expectations and make them proud. But as he got older, he realized that if he didn't become the best, his parents might split up. This pressure is part of why Hiori didn't have a genuine love for the game. He joined Blue Lock partially to escape his reality. However, during the Neo-Egoist League, Hiori had a turning point. He lets go of his parents' expectations and decides to create a future where he makes Isagi the king. This marks his shift into becoming an egoist who shapes the game with his passes. Gurimu Igarashi is one of the team's reserve players and was ranked 300 in Blue Lock during the early stages of the series. While many people didn't like him because of his personality and abilities, it's actually these very traits that makes him such a tricky opponent, even for someone as skilled as Rin. In fact, his unique style might just make him one of the most dangerous players out there. Igarashi dreams of becoming a professional player so he can leave behind his life as a monk. His main weapon is his militia dribbling. While it's not as flashy as players like Yukimaya or Bachira, it's still highly effective. Surprisingly, Igarashi's dribbling isn't that impressive on its own, but that's exactly what works in his favor. His lack of skill lowers his opponent's guard and lures them in to try and steal the ball, only for them to be caught off guard. This dribbling skill later evolves into his genius killer militia, a move designed specifically to counter Rin during the Neo-Egoist League. It worked so well that Rin fouled him twice and even got mentally shaken up. As long as Igarashi can keep getting into his opponent's heads, he remains a frustrating threat on the field. However, this ability can be easily countered if an opponent has enough space to avoid physical contact with him. By then, Igarashi just becomes useless. Baru is a powerful striker known for his strength, skill, and sharp finishing. He's at his best when he's free to take on both opponents and teammates. With his muscular build and strong ego, Baru can easily overpower most players in the series. In the U20 match, Baru was Ego's secret weapon. Even though Ego wasn't sure how it would play out, he knew that to get the best out of Baru, the key was to focus on devouring Isagi. What really sets Baru apart is his unique playing style called villainous soccer. This chaotic approach suits him perfectly as a king on the field, where he keeps the ball for himself and uses his teammates' positions to score. As Baru got better, he also became more skilled at controlling the game and dominating his team. Baru knows how to break through defenses, even against tough teams like the Iron Wall Quartet. His signature shot is super powerful and accurate as long as he's within 29 meters, but it gets a bit shaky from further out. He's made it even deadlier by adding curves and blocking the goalkeeper's view to make it harder to predict. One of his sneakiest moves is using his teammates to throw off the goalkeeper and score. Baru sneakily hides behind the players on the field, then fires a curved shot at just the right moment, making it nearly impossible to stop. Baru also has great dribbling skills. His lightning dribble combines quick feints, sharp angles, and clever moves to pass through defenders. He's got trick moves like the nutmeg and chop feint to keep opponents guessing. With his strength, Baru can intercept passes and score, even when tough defenders like Muroku Darai and Kazuma Neo are all over him. While Baru thrives on taking goals for himself, his true power really shines when his whole team centers around him. We saw this in Team X, and later with Italy's Ubers in the Neo-Egoist League. And that's a wrap on all of the Blue Lock 11 players. Which player's backstory or character development would you like us to dive deeper into next? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and if you want to learn more about Japan U20 players, click on the video on your screen now.